Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a review, swatches, and two looks on the new Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I bought this at Sephora. It is $69. I'm excited to tell you my thoughts about this palette, even though a lot of people have already done videos and swatches on it, but I did try it out 2 days in a row and I thought I would give you my thoughts. If you are new, please subscribe. I absolutely love makeup. It is a whole lot of fun, and Natasha Denona is one of my favorite eyeshadow brands. And yeah, let's get into this video. All right, so first up, here's the palette. A very nice packaging. It's a bit thicker, kind of like the Retro Glam is. And it's one of the $69 palettes, and it is absolutely beautiful. Now, it is obviously very, very neutral. However, she does have a new formula of shimmers in this palette. So the mattes are all regular mattes. There are no cream to powders, which some people hate, some people love. I like the cream to powders, but I don't mind that there aren't any in this palette. The shimmers are new formulas. So she's calling these formulas a sparkling wet effect or a glossy wet effect. And I have to say, after using this palette now, I really do like them. And I didn't use a wet brush for any of the shimmers, and it actually worked out really, really well. So I'm definitely impressed with that new formula. It's beautiful. I mean, the colors, we've definitely seen them before, but I do think this is nice. Let me just show you side by side with some of her other neutral palettes. So the My Dream also has, I guess I would call them, hold on, let me see if I can pick this up properly. The My Dream has a few like peachy shades and some browns, but it's pretty different. This is a lot warmer tone. This is also a lot darker, more plum, definitely smokier. You have the black. There's a lot more depth in the My Dream, so that is something to note, but I think the color story is quite different. Probably the most similar, I would say, is the Glam palette, but again, I find them to be pretty different. Now, you do still have a few of the similar, like taupey grays between these palettes. I definitely think this is the most similar out of her palettes, but again, I think it's pretty different. This one has a lot more, it's got like some golds and then some kind of true silvers, whereas this one is a lot more like pink and peachy pink toned. But definitely, I would say this is the most similar out of her palettes. Retro is definitely more pink and mauve toned. There's a few similar shades like in the peachy shades, but really not too similar. But I would say maybe second most similar after the Glam palette. All right, let's dive into some swatches. I'm going to start and just go like this across the palette. And yeah, like I said, the mattes, they're all just a regular matte formula. There's no cream to powders, but these metallic formulas are new. And she's calling them either a sparkling wet effect or a foiled wet effect. And I think that those are good names because they do have that kind of wet look. And like I said, I really didn't need a wet brush, so that was pretty awesome. Okay, here's the top row. So yeah, you can see these metallics, they're very wet looking. This one in particular is really gorgeous. Mattes, very nice, smooth. I mean, after having used this twice, I think the mattes are her usual formula, which I really love. All right, here is the next row. Very pretty. Again, these metallics, they do look very wet, so I gotta say, I'm really into that formula. I think it's really nice. I hope she continues that and does that in more palettes. All right, here's the last row. Very beautiful colors. As you can see, though, there is not a lot of depth in this palette. This one, and this one. None of them are super dark. That's probably my only complaint. I do wish there was one more darker shade. It didn't need to be a black because I feel like I have black in plenty of other palettes. And I can easily pull from another palette to get depth for a look. But I do feel like a lot of the shades are very light. And two of these mattes, this one and this one, are nearly identical, as you're going to see when I use them on the eyes. To me, they look pretty much the same. And then also this and this peachy shade. You can see this one is darker, but when I put them on the eyes, I only got like a bit more depth from that shade. So I just wish like these two, I mean, these two are pretty much identical. And then these two could have been a bit more different. So personally, that's really my only complaint with this palette. I wish that she had changed like one of these into something else. Maybe even done another shimmer. I think it's a pretty good ratio of mattes to shimmers, but I think the repetitive quality of a few of these shadows is really a bit of a complaint. And then I wish there was one more deeper shade to get a bit more depth. But overall, I have to say, I really, really like the palette. The quality is amazing. And this new shimmer formula, like applying it to the eyes, I was really, really impressed with how well that worked. So yeah, I really like the palette. I'm going to show you the two looks. Here are the swatches one more time. Again, it's taupey, it's neutral. There's a couple peachy shades, and you'll see the first look that I did use these peachy shades, and it pulled quite pink and peach. So I think it's quite different from her other palettes. The new shimmer formula is amazing. Could there have been a bit more variety within these shades? Yes, yes, there could have. Did I need another neutral palette? No, I didn't, but I am glad that I bought this. So let's get into the eye looks. Alrighty, here it is. I have not yet used it. I'm very excited for this first look. I've not even swatched these shadows. So, oh, absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to decide what I should do first. I think I'm going to start with this shade here in the crease. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I haven't even peeled the sticker off the mirror, so I need to grab something else to use for the mirror. Let's grab the Glam palette. All right, so we're gonna go with that like pinky peachy shade in the crease. Let's add a little bit more. Okay. So far seems like the usual Natasha Denona formula. I was thinking of trying not to use setting spray for the shimmers, just to see how they work without setting spray. Natasha Denona shimmers, I usually use a setting spray, but sometimes I don't. So let's just try without. All right, let's go, I want to go with this shade, which is kind of like a peachy terracotta. I want to add that in the outer corner before I use like the darker browns. Yeah, it's just a slightly darker version of the first color. These shades kind of remind me of a few shades that I have from Coastal Scents, like Paprika. I don't know, those are so old school. Does anyone still have those? I still like my Coastal Scents shadows. All right, now I'm gonna go with let's just go with the darkest brown here, Silhouette. All right. I definitely want to try a few of the shimmers for this look. And it's interesting that there aren't any cream to powders in this palette. It's all her mattes and like shimmers and metallics. No cream to powders. I feel like a lot of people hate the cream to powders. Whoops. I like them though, but you know, it's okay that there aren't any in this palette. But I think they're a good formula. All right, so let's see. This one, Mia here, looks super sparkly and pretty. I want to start with that one. And I saw a few people I follow on Instagram said that theirs had come like, it fell out of the palette right away. So I was kind of nervous when I got my palette after I saw that. Ooh, that's pretty. Very sparkly. All right, and then let's go with this one called Sheen. I'm going to try to use as many shades for this look. And this is a very pretty, like, sparkly formula. Very nice. And then let's go with this one in the middle, Muse. This one seems a bit chunkier, but I'm gonna still try it without the setting spray. And yeah, I feel like this one could use setting spray, but I'll just leave it as is. All right. I'm going to go into the darkest brown again, called Silhouette. And then just a bit more blending. Yeah, this is an interesting color story because it's peachy, neutral, brown, bronzy. That's pretty cool. It actually seems pretty different than her other palettes. All right, I think that's going to be it for this look. So yeah, I'll finish everything up and I'll be back. Okay, here's the final look, and I really do like it. I added the dark brown on the lower lash line, and then I added a little bit of Mia on the inner corner. And I have to say, the sparkle is really, really nice from these shimmers. I'm really enjoying it. It's like a very fine sparkle. It's really, really nice. The mattes seem like, you know, the usual Natasha Denona formula, which I love. Definitely this look turned out peachy because I did use the two peachy shades. So I'm curious to do another look without using those. I didn't use any of these like cooler toned mattes or like this bronzy shade or this one. That's hopefully what I'll focus on for the next look. But so far I like it. I really like how this look turned out. And yeah, let us know what you think if you guys got this palette. I mean, it is beautiful. I mean, I have to say, like all the Instagram pictures I saw before I got mine, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks gorgeous. I can't wait to get mine. So first look, I really, really enjoy. And yeah. All right, for look 2, I want to use some of these cool tones that I didn't use here, and then these bronzy shades that I haven't used. So we'll see. I want to make this look a bit more dramatic, so I do still want to use the dark brown shade. So I'm going to start with this shade right there in the crease. It is called Mesh. And yesterday's eye look looked great throughout the day. I had no problems with that, which, I mean, I don't normally. I always wear eye primer, so you know, my eye makeup not lasting through the day isn't an issue for me because I do wear eye primer, of course, every single day. Currently, I'm wearing the one from Alter Ego, which is amazing, and I really, really love that one. All right, I'm going to go into this shade called Stone and use that in the crease as well. All right. That one it's pretty similar to the first one that I used. It's just like a bit darker and a bit more gray. But they're pretty similar on the eyes. So I don't know that both of those shades really needed to be in this palette, but that's just my opinion. All right, then going back into that darkest brown called Silhouette, and I kind of want to do this whole slightly winging out with shadow thing. This is something that I've liked doing. It's messy, but don't worry. I'll blend this out. Oh, this side I didn't do a very good job. It's fine. I'll fix it. All right. Better. So, blending. So these shimmers here, did I use that one? I don't remember now. Maybe I did. These 3 I for sure haven't used. So I'm going to start with this one. It's called Travertine. Yeah, this one is a very nice, very taupey, and this one's very smooth. This isn't one of the more chunky shimmers. Now I'm going to go into Filigree, which is a much darker bronzy shade. And I want to just put that like over here, kind of covering the matte brown that I used. All right, and then in the blank space in the middle, I'm going to go with Ella. This one looks more sparkly. Oh, that one's pretty. I have to say the sparkle in this palette is like really, really nice. The shades look kind of simplistic, but the shimmers definitely, they have that sparkle and dimension, and I have not used a wet brush at all. So just gonna do a bit more blending here and then finish the rest of my makeup. All right, I have to say, I do love how this second look turned out. It's a bit smokier. It's very, very nice. And I am wearing the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude lip liner, which I am obsessed. This is such a good lip liner. Highly recommended. This formula is amazing. I am wearing the shade Dana. And then I'm just wearing a little bit of NYX Creme Brulee gloss on top, and that's it. And then I'm wearing the Natasha Denona My Dream Face palette today. So yeah, final thoughts. Did I need another nude palette? No, I did not. But do I love it? Yes, I do. And I'm really impressed with this new shimmer formula. I think it's interesting and I do think it's different. And I didn't need to use a wet brush. And I have to say, I do like how it turned out. My only complaints with the palette, like I mentioned earlier, are that these two and these two shades are just too similar. I wish she'd done something different and just added one more darker shade. But other than that, it is absolutely beautiful. And of course, I can use a black eyeshadow from any palette. My Dream has a black, Biba has a black. I have all those palettes. So I can easily reach into those if I really wanted to use a black eyeshadow. So I definitely don't think that every palette needs that. You know, but some people may only own 2 or 3 eyeshadow palettes. I am not that person, but you know, there may be some people out there. So they may want a palette that has everything they would want in it. But I do think it's beautiful. And I think what really stands out to me is that new shimmer formula, the wet effect. It is stunning and it has a wet effect. And I do really like the color story. I mean, it's very like glam, taupey, neutral. And like I said, when I first saw it, I wasn't sure if it was going to stand out enough from her other palettes, but I definitely think that the color story is also different enough. So, hey, I didn't need another nude eyeshadow palette, but I am glad that I bought this. Those are my thoughts. Let us know. Did you guys buy this palette already? It's currently sold out on Sephora, but it's still in stock on Natasha Denona and on Ulta. So that is it. If you are new, please subscribe. I hope you'll stick around. I do love makeup ever so much. Thank you so much for watching this video and have a great day.